You think you know Dead Cell's weapons? We're gonna play a little bit of a game. I'm gonna drop a little bit of Dead Cell's tech, and you are gonna keep note of if you knew about that tech or not. And by the end of this video, you're gonna grade yourself on how well you did. If you get none of these right, you got some homework to do, people. If you got all 10 of them, then you can call yourself a Dead Cell's pro player. All right, so I'm gonna start you off with an easy one. Honestly, everyone should get this one right if you've watched my live streams. We are approaching a wall. Standard wall run looks just like this. You can jump again in order to get a little bit of extra height. So what you can do is with a weapon, if you attack and then jump, you actually gain height. You can also do it with a dodge roll. Of course, you're subjected to the dodge roll's cooldown. Just about every weapon can do it. Some are better than others. Kind of dependent on the animation. But like I said, you all should know that one already. So that's an easy 10 points for you. All right, I'm gonna give you all another free 10 points right here. We got Assault Shield equipped. If you've ever watched really anyone using Assault Shield, you know that the standard dash looks like this. Very short, but then you can get some extra distance by doing one of these. It actually goes pretty far. It does count as a dodge, so anything shooting at me will not hit me. It doesn't do the reflect, however. If you watch the controller in the top right, you can see the difference between my standard Y button, which is my dash, and then my standard B button, which is my dodge roll. What I'm doing is I'm rolling from one to the other, so it's YB. If you hit them both at the same time, you're not guaranteed to make it happen. Anything that applies a melee buff works with Assault Shield. So if you know any one of these, I'm gonna give you a free 5 points. First off, Open Wounds gets applied with a dash, which gives you an instant crit on your Status Stiletto. Melee Mutation is another one, applies a slow when you hit the target, which will hopefully give you enough time to actually get out your slow weapon. Kill Rhythm is another one. It's gonna be a lot easier for me to show this as a comparison. So first off with the Oven Axe, if I dash in and try to slash, it takes about that long. Not terrible, but maybe we can do a little better than that. So if I take Kill Rhythm, give myself a little bit of green just for the sake of argument, you can see the speed difference. Funny enough, the monster actually gets hit before the swing actually finishes. You can even get super sneaky with stuff like Predator. Predator only works with melee attacks, so if I use Infantry Bow, I'm actually not getting invisibility here, but when I use Assault Shield with it, it's already tagged with a melee attack. If I kill it with anything else, in this case a bow, I actually go invisible. All right, this one is guaranteed some people don't know it. So that's gotta be worth like 50 points or something. I get questions every day about dual binding in normal games. It got nerfed and moved over to custom mode, so that way you can only do single attacks. However, with hold to attack enabled, which is this feature right here, you are able to not only hold your Molotov as your X button, you can hold your Valmont's Whip as your Y button, and if you hold them both at the same time, as you see, I'm throwing both the Molotov and I'm doing the Valmont Whip. That's dual binding. Now let's add on to that, a little bit of extra credit. You can't usually use the same weapon in 2 different slots in a normal game of Dead Cells. The only exception are legendary items. And you may be thinking to yourself, what's the point? Why would I ever want to do that? This is the normal attack speed when we use the dual bind of both the legendary and the regular at the same time. It ends up looking a little bit like this. No kill rhythm, no extra attack speed added in. For the sake of argument, we'll bring in kill rhythm too. Pretty fast, if I don't say so myself. So the rule of thumb is that the game reads the weapons from left to right. I have an Ice Shards and a Flawless. If I just hold down Ice Shards, it looks like that. If I hold down Flawless, it does the full combo. If I hold both at the same time, it does an Ice Shard and a Slash, and fills out the entire combo. If I swap them around, however, all of a sudden the Ice Shards do not come out at all, and I'm holding down the buttons the exact same way. So whatever you have that does not have a combo to it, put it on the left side. And if you have something that does have a combo, put it on the right side. I'll say that's probably worth 69 points by itself. All right, let's see who can get this one. Bible, 2-hit combo. 3rd hit that comes out does a 140 damage, roughly. However, once we bring in Point Blank, This thing increases close ranged attacks by 30%. You might be asking, V, I don't see a ranged weapon in your hand right now. 2-hit combo, 160, 170, 183, 192. It's actually buffing the damage from the aura. Not the regular attack, that's still the same, but the aura is going all the way up to 174. Queen's Rapier, normal crits, about 130, 125, random 176, that must be at the end of the combo. But then when you bring in point blank, 149, 177, 245, it's actually buffing the damage on Reality Slash. You didn't know that, did you? That's like 100 points. There's more too. A good rule of thumb is if it actually procs networking or parting gift, it counts as range damage. So we have Star Fury, range damage. Shrapnel Axe, range damage. Rhythm and Bozuki, range damage. All right, so you might think you have a couple points here. Maybe you're at like the 500, 1000 range. That's not bad. But the ones coming up now, there's no way you're gonna know these. First off, we have our favorite Shark. Shark actually, when you yeet it, does range damage. You can see the networking on top of Concierge's head. However, there is no tech. You use the Tornado, you actually get this. Literal Sharknado. This is not a mod. This is not made up. I'm not gonna say it's good, but it is actually a real thing. If you knew about that one, give yourselves like 3,000 points. All right, the next one here is one of my favorites. Nutcracker, always fun to play, but sometimes you just don't have the stun prepared. Ice Grenade, Cudgel, all of that stuff, all randomly found. I mean, it's really easy to get the stun that way, but you gotta wait and all of that nonsense. However, War Javelin, whenever you throw it, even at the lowest level, War Javelin stuns the enemy. And it stuns them for long enough to actually get a crit. Even the elites are not immune to this. Even this Masker right here. Teleport in, nothing personal, kid. All right, the next one here, there's no way you know it. There's just no way. I gotta say 10,000 points. Hand hook, as you know, you yeet the enemy. If it hits a wall, does a critical hit. But V, I don't have walls all the time. I like an open concept. All right, let me introduce you to Wormettes. Every single Wormette here, critical hits for passing through them. And it does do real damage. Whatever goes through the Wormettes, very likely it will die. Okay, yeah, I get it. Wormettes aren't brutality. You don't want to waste the slot with something that doesn't do damage by itself. Let me show you Lil Staffy, aka the Leg Hugger. Leg Hugger, you can throw the enemy through, crits, and for some reason also like yeets Lil Buddy as well. Kind of breaks his legs too. It's kind of messed up. No way you know this. This is probably another like 20,000 points by itself. Lil Staffy does get thrown around because of it. So you may be thinking to yourself, V, I don't want to hurt my little buddy anymore. Can you give me like one more option? New Maria's cat, aka Baby Biako, does a critical attack through the cat. The cat is a little short. So what you can also do is if you can call the cat to your shoulder, you crit almost everything. You can combine this with Staffy and get double the crits. Yo, you're transforming in the middle of my video recording? Double crits though. Now that Staffy is a little bigger, a little grown up, it's looking a lot better. All right, let me give you another one. This is probably gonna range between like 50 points to maybe like 50,000 points. I haven't really decided yet. Katana with hold to attack disabled. If you hold the button, you do a slash. It's not like the most powerful thing in the world, but it's really flashy. You can do cool things like a 3-hit combo, roll and then slash. You can hold the slash by jumping out of it, and then you can get like a really fast slash out of it. You can also do the same thing with a dodge roll. You can hold down the button during the dodge roll, but then you can do a couple of other things that I personally learned from this person over at Billy. But what you can do is you can basically severely reduce the time to load up one of these slashes. It ends up looking just like that. How that works is I'm doing a slash, a jump, a dodge roll, and then when the first slash comes out, I'm actually hitting the button 2 times. and it looks just like that. I'm using my thumb to basically just mash my controller, hitting both the square or X, the A, and the B button at the same time. For the most part, as long as I do the first slash, if I just put my entire thumb on all 3 buttons after the first slash, it usually works. If you continue to hold down the button even after that, you will do 2 slashes. For some reason, the second slash does like no damage. I don't know why. So that tech by itself, that's like a good 5,000 points. But you can do even more than that. While you're doing the charge, you can use skills, just like that. And it does actually buff the damage. Grapple hook works, phaser works. So what we're able to do is, while we're doing that jump and roll, we're also using the skill at the same time. Which looks like that. The zombie is a little too short to be hit by the grapple hook. Here's how it looks with phaser. So those 2 skills by themselves, that's probably another 5,000 points for you. You can get even spicier with it. Assault Shield requires you to tap the button during that jump part. Just like Assault Shield, you can do really weird stuff with some of the other weapons. Like here's Tentacle. You can do like a really weird setup with throwing weapons, such as the Molotov. Even Frost Blast does some weird stuff here. And then the final piece of tech I have for you, this one is worth 500,000 points by itself. And the reason why it's worth so much is because I only just learned it like a week ago. We're going back to our good buddy Serenade, known as one of the most broken skills in the game. Not because of how strong it is, but because it literally breaks things. How are we breaking Serenade today? Let's use Meat Skewer as an example. Dash 1, 2, 3. And you can just repeat that as long as you want. Serenade has some weird interactions. Whenever you equip it as a normal weapon, what it actually ends up doing is it resets your first attack. This is brand new technology for me, fresh off the presses. Big thanks to Vord, who is the one who hooked me up on this. And think about the massive implications of every weapon in the game that has the first hit being the most important one. You have, for example, Spite Sword that only ever has to do the first 2 hits. And you never have to worry about that dinky kick again so long as you keep the rhythm up. Imagine being able to run through a biome doing only the Bladed Tonfa's primary attack with something like Initiative equipped and maybe No Mercy. Throwing weapons can get a little bit of an attack speed boost as long as you can keep the rhythm up. We get into broken territory with things like the boomerangs too. That is by far way too many boomerangs if you ask me. Look at that, there's no way. You can't know this one. I personally haven't done a ton of experimentation with this yet. You might be the one who comes up with the real reason this gets nerfed and not me. Either way, do me a favor, tally up all your points, go into the comments of this video, let me know how much of this you knew and how much more do you know that I didn't even show in this video. And of course, as a disclaimer, this is Dead Cells we're talking about. All of this could change the next day after I post this video. And if it does, come back and let me know in the comments so I can make sure everyone else knows about it. Like the video, subscribe if you want to see more Dead Cells and other roguelike content that we pump out on this channel every single week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.